Okay, so about 10 years ago, I was interviewing for a job and everything's going well. I'm showing up as myself, having a conversation. It's going good. And towards the end, the manager says, "Okay, you look good on paper. I know you have the experience, and I'm sitting in front of you. I love the vibe, the impression, the energy that I have with you. But in your employee profile, there's some feedback from your last review, and I'm wondering if you could speak on that." And I immediately break into tears. Like my face turned red, the tears start coming down, and I get choked up. And the reason why I got so choked up is because I was actually relieved or happy that someone took the time to hear my side, because I knew this feedback was holding me back from getting calls or landing roles. And so here I am in the room with someone and they address, I guess the elephant in the room, the feedback right there. I was hoping the whole interview, like it was going so smooth, I was hoping they weren't going to say anything or bring it up, but they brought it up and I started crying because it was actually very triggering for me with what happened. And to give you background info on it, what happened was I had been working for a manager for like about 2 years or so. I thought we had a good working relationship together, very strong, good relationship. And we worked well together. And I ended up going on maternity leave and I trained up my backfill. The agency temp that was filling up in for me, I had documentation. I made sure I sat with her for a long time and covered. I gave people my personal number if they needed me. And what happened was when I got back from maternity leave, they had opened up a new position. My manager had got a promotion so that someone talked her into opening up a new position, or they were going to open one because they figured she needed someone more senior with her new role, which hadn't been heard of. Usually you always, when your manager gets a promotion, you still work with them because you know their rhythm of business and their personality and how they move. Like it's always been that way. But for whatever reason, there was a person that told her she needed someone else with her new promotion. And so after that, the relationship just went really sour. It was nothing with me. I just felt like, I don't know, she lived with guilt for what she did. I ended up reporting under someone else, like lower than her, but they hired in someone from another state. And then that year, like they gave me a 15-cent raise, which was the lowest raise in my history ever, which was like an insult. But I was grateful I got it because it allowed me to interview for other roles. Because at the time, you had to get some sort of raise. Otherwise, you were on probation and you couldn't interview for other teams. So I was grateful I got the raise, but it was really bad working under her and the new person that I had to train for my role and give up my office so that they could be there. It's just a whole humiliating experience. I felt backstabbed and I had a hard time getting over that. And obviously, emotions are probably high from being pregnant and, just finding out your job had been given to someone else. And it didn't make sense. Like, I had been there a long time with the company. I'd never seen anything like that before. And I just always thought we were close. So the fact that the manager took the time in the interview to say, "Hey, like, you seem like a good person, but can you explain this?" I was so relieved. It was like therapeutic to get it out, all the stuff that I've been holding on to, but just to clear up the story and say, this is what happened. Like, I'm not sure why it happened, but all I know is I went on maternity leave, and before I left, things were great. And when I came back, it was terrible. My job was given away, and I was still treated a certain way. And I'm kind of like, really, I was being forced out. I didn't even want to interview anywhere else. But the new manager I was under, he saw what was going on, and he had my back, and he's like, "I think you should get out of here because no matter what you do, they're gonna still have it out for you. So leave, and I'll help you. I'll make sure your feedback's good and stuff. Like I'll speak for you and be your reference, but I think you should get out of here." And so it was nice that this new interviewer took the time to ask me that. And I finished out the interview. He allowed me to go to the bathroom to gather myself. I might have had one. No, I think he was the final one. So that was the last interview. I went to the bathroom to, clean my face up and stuff. And I ended up going to the bathroom. And I went to the bathroom. I realized that my pants were on backwards this whole time during the interview because I had like 3 interviews that day and he was the final one. My pants were on backwards the whole time. I was so embarrassed. But the way how that happened was I had just had a baby like, a year or 2 prior. And so I was still wearing my maternity clothes. Some of them were just really cute and comfortable. So I had these really nice dress pants. And so they're stretchy, so they don't have like a button or anything on the front. And so that's how they ended up on backwards. So I'm like, okay, I went to this interview. I cried doing the interview. And I ended up just actually being honest about how I felt about these people or what happened. And, they could backstab me. It could backfire in the company if they say something or anything. But I just took a risk and it felt good though, to be honest. Like, even if nothing ever happened after that, like if I never saw these people again, I would have been grateful to just have been able to get that off my chest. It was very therapeutic. But I end up leaving the building, getting down to my car, and driving off to head home. And about 10, 15 minutes as I'm driving home I hear my phone go off and I look and I got the offer. Um, and it was like amazing. I was shocked because I just knew for sure. I'm like, I'm not getting this job. I cried, my pants are on backwards. There's no way. And I didn't even have to wait a couple days, a week. The end of the day, the offer was there as I was heading home, and it was such a relief to get a new start. And I stayed with that team for probably like 6 or 7 years, and that ended up being one of my favorite managers that I worked with. Like, he's even on my LinkedIn connection, but he was just a really good person. And that's the thing you have to remember. Interviewers are human. They're not there to have it out on you like a target on your back. They're not there to interrogate you. They're there to just find good people who are a good fit for the team and who have the skill. And so obviously you have the skill there because of your resume or application. That's what brings them in and qualifies you for the role. But when you get there, you need to show up and be honest, be real, have that guess what energy with you. But these are humans, and we had a real human moment, and he obviously looked past what he saw on paper and wanted to take a chance with me, and it paid off. Like, we had a great working relationship together. And so that's what I wanted to just tie into stuff. Like, show up for yourself, be honest. These people are real. And even if nothing else, like I said, I felt good about it, because imagine if I showed up robotic, scripted, just over rehearsed, and like, let me just stick to the script. And if he asks me about this feedback, I'm just going to pivot and do this, or I'm going to, maybe I watched a video and it showed me how to answer that question. And I just came up with some rehearsed question that he's already heard. I mean, he's been with the company for a while. He was upper management. I'm pretty sure he's heard every interview answer in the world or seen every scenario. But like, how many people is he going to say he interviewed with that they cried during an interview? Or maybe if he even noticed that I had my pants on backwards. Like, I'll always stand out to him just for being honest, like having that human connection about it. No drama behind it or anything, but just coming in, representing myself well, because I did good in the interview regardless and was honest. But then to just have that human heart to heart moment. And he's a human too. So he obviously saw that, knew I was a good person, and decided to stick with just my history, what it really showed, that I was a good person, and didn't let that one little hiccup or people who tried to backstab me, he didn't let that stop me from getting the role. And not only that, I didn't have to go home and have this anxiety around wondering if I got chosen. I knew before I even got home that I had this job. So just a reminder, always show up as yourself and be honest. It's just less pressure on yourself if you show up and be honest and not have to memorize all this stuff and learn to connect with people. These people are human.